some 40,000 people were ethnically cleansed, expelled, some 5,000 people lost their lives. So the community, while the city still remains, it exists in Bosnia, it's not in the same place for those people who are ethnically cleansed. But if you go on the internet and put town of Priedo in Google engine, you will come across a website, which is very much developed website. Really, the first thought is that's actually the local community that's there, or municipality which is advertising what it is happening in Priedo now, and it is, and it's one of the realities. There's an official website of Priedo where the local mayor and what's happening there, and all the local events are listed. And there's an alternative, also Priedo website, official website, which has completely different content, and it's visited by different people telling two stories. They are in a way two parallel realities. For people who now live in St. Louis and Malmö, St. Louis in the United States and Malmö in Sweden, this website has become their place. It's connecting them from, they get connected from places where they live, including Melbourne, for example. So now that I didn't copy this link, I'll see how to. Sorry, I just want to show you how this looks in cyber reality. Both websites are, I don't know if it's in English, but you can get a sense. This is the official website of Priedo. It's especially in that part of the world, kind of the internet became, or is still being very much in the process of being adopted. And now having a profile on the website as a town, it's seen as really confirming your existence. While the local authorities, they're quite kind of struggling with putting their website and maintaining it. People in diaspora, that part of Priedo, which does not actually live in the actual place, have been much more advantage in terms of being able to use technology, and also how many people visit the website. So this is the official one, and the one that should be open now doesn't open, and it really doesn't matter if this is what websites are in Bosnia, or Serbia and Bosnia. In other instances, this is a town that still exists. In other instances, there are villages that don't exist anymore. They don't exist in the physical spaces they existed before the war. So there are no people there, no houses, no life. They're just toponyms. They are still on the maps. On Google Maps you can find it, but there are no actual people. They don't exist as places. However, the people still do exist. Not in the Balkans. They exist in Melbourne, in St. Louis, in St. Albans, for example, a sizable community. They exist in Austria, Sweden, and other places. the internet has provided these people with the possibility to recreate their identities and to have websites of their villages there. And the websites are not just to memorialize something that that they lost. They're very, very active, and they are hyperlinked to newspapers of their choice, for example. They are hyperlinked with other similar websites, but they also they're used as medium to disseminate information, to kind of reconstruct that identity of who they were. What internet enables them is also to for people who may be living different countries these days, they still can be part of that cyber village regardless of their physical location. And of course, it's very much used as a tool for political mobilization. It's then people telling their truth, what happened to them. And this is it's not one village that's interesting for that. There are many villages that now exist or moved into cyberspace, and you can't find in real space anymore. While,
Do you want Jason to?
I think I'll just go to the last service technology.
We can bring that website up if you like. Here is the second one.
Maybe I can show it later when we go into discussion. But now, back to doing ethnography as a research process, as a research method, and kind of presenting ethnographic findings to digital tools. I'll present another. This one is actually, these are my field notes. I call them field notes from Bosnia. My research interests, as I said, related to memory, to the consequences of politically motivated violence, and performances of identity, in real place, as well as how this is done or mediated in cyberspace. Last year, as many years before, and this year I will be in Bosnia, in Srebrenica, where on every 11 July, huge commemoration takes place for victims of genocide. Some 8,000 people perished in 1995, and the survivors live in many different places of the globe. And I've been ethographically following what's been happening there for a number of years. And again, not really looking for digital technologies and their place in what's happening there, but just not ignoring what's happening and how people use digital technologies. I'll show this very simple ethnography. Well, why I'm showing this is not really to just to present the content. It's I call this field notes. They are based on 2 digital photographs, just ordinary camera, 12 megapixels, and transcripts of SMS exchange, which I had access to because my participant was standing next to me when this was happening. It is how I use digital technology in a way, very crude digital technology, just digital camera and a flash player with a simulation how this exchange happened. But it's more importantly how very simple technology like SMS, how it's used for instant, not only instant connection, but kind of that creating transnational collaboration where emotions are exchanged as much, even more than just information. As an ethnographer, having only focused on what was happening around me, which I also describe as part of my forthcoming book, I would have missed all these emotional transactions that were taking place. And while I do not fetishize digital technology and don't disappear in some world that does not exist, I think ignoring that world that people create, imagine, reimagine, and emotionally engage with would be really missing the big part of the holistic approach which ethnographers profess to be doing. Now I'd love to get kind of how we can use it as educational, not only educational research, but also as a pedagogical tool. Going back to Michael Wesch, he's developed, he's kind of adjusted ethnographic mini fieldwork exercise to his students. As generally ethnologists train their students or train when they in the process of being trained themselves, they expose ourselves to different type of contexts, different type of places. For example, at Melbourne Uni, I would send my students to different places to do ethnographic observations, where they would go to auction, for example, or would go to some public event, or would go to Victoria Market to learn how to observe. With digital technologies, this can be done in multiple ways, so that was kind of hard to imagine even some 20 years ago. But Michael Wesch is doing, and I'm really looking forward to engaging myself as a teacher, is using digital technology, giving digital tools to students, and then for them to create their own version of what digital ethnography may be. So there are some beautiful videos done by students on the website, on that website of digital ethnography, and you can see how this is done. What I'd really like now to kind of broaden this into a discussion and to see how people use or see digital tools in their own research. Also to debate what constitutes digital ethnography. Is every online research digital ethnography? Is every use of digital tools by ethnographers digital ethnography? When that research becomes ethnographic research? And of course, your own experiences with how you use digital tools, the internet, in your own research. Of course, I'll be very happy to talk more about my research or answer questions you may have. So I kind of condensed on this so that we have time to talk.
Can you tell us, that was fascinating, thank you. I just want to know a little bit more about what was going on there with your own research, and particularly the SMS, and how that, did you observe a lot of SMSs? Was that just part of what you were picking up, what you could, what can you explain for us?
I was really following the participant Omer, or what, him being there, and that was the third year that we engaged in. So it was participating, observing, commemoration and collective burial of genocide victims, 800 something people with rest. It's very very intense experience. Just see 800 people in Aden coffins being carried, and it's 40 degrees in summer, July, or in the Northern Hemisphere. It's physically very close to you. So you feel people around you, you feel pain, you feel everything. But then, the participant who was my host, and who is also my friend, being with him, I noticed how he was exchanging SMS messages with people, and a lot of people actually were doing that. But I did not engage more people than him. And then there was that instant transfer, instant communication happening. Using how, say, having a digital camera, for example, how helped me is a lot of, as an ethnographer, we want to know everything. We want to ask people questions and be close to them. But in situations like this, a lot of that would be inappropriate. It would be culturally inappropriate to go to that old man and ask him, is that person your son, or how many people did you lose? And even the picture I took, it's from distance. So it was an issue taking a picture, but it was from a distance. It enabled me to engage at a very, very close, from distance in a way that's not distant at all. By zooming in that ordinary digital picture, digital photography, I really kind of got closer to him and can observe, even kind of freeze in time, which is not completely frozen because with technology you can move it, as you can see. Everything that was happening there is really just one picture, but the focus on different parts then moving different. You kind of keep that ethnographic engagement longer. At the same time, that picture became final product, and with the SMS translate its final product. I call them field notes. But it's going to take some 2 years till my book is out where part of this is described. While this could be put on YouTube, could be put, presented at a conference, a seminar, you already have it as final product. In the text form, I have more. So what I show here, and it's silent. I don't describe. It's described in words, and I don't think really I've done maybe 50% is described. With my word, because how you see it and perceive that digital photography being moved and seeing an old man mourning there, it's different from how I describe it. So sometimes we realize that there are limits to text, and that pictures like this, as it's known, can tell 1,000 words and maybe more. Rather than just seeing this as a rhetorical question or a philosophical approach, it's really also very practical. So using your ethnography, collecting your ethnography, and digitally, not necessarily digitally manipulating, but digitally kind of what technology enables you to do, just kind of really. And I'm not really very, as you see, even with this website that I try to access, not that I'm very much into digital technologies from the technical point of view, but not using it even towards ignoring what's happening around you would be missing the point. And as contemporary photographers, I think we have to engage with the digital world, with cyber world. We have to see how people give meanings to their actions, and website is not just website, and having friends on Facebook or playing games is not just entertainment. It's also how what this really means to people, and to know what this means to people, we need to engage with them, and we need to participate. If we are exploring, say, memorialization of collective trauma, then it means going there, but also seeing what happens beyond the geography, beyond the actual place. And this is the approach I'm taking, and of course I don't see this as the only way, but it is one of the ways, and it's definitely enriched my ethnography. And being a digital ethnographer, I don't really think you can just be digital ethnographer. Ethnographer is an ethnographer who engages with people at a very personal level, and it becomes, ethnography is personal, so it's spending time with people and becoming an insider, it's very personal.
So the other thing that's happening nowadays, of course, is that companies are using analytics, you mentioned Google Analytics, to try and monitor what people are doing. You don't think that's a form of digital ethnography, even though you're not concentrating on an individual.
Actually, that's a very good point. Digital ethnography is really exploited by commercial actors, companies, advertising, and so on. An very interesting paper is actually digital ethnography was published in Design Management Journal, and they refer to participants as customers. It's really observing people's behavior in order to sell their products, and that marketing aspect of digital ethnography being seen as a tool where you can really learn about actual people, consumers. It's been a big part of digital ethnography. So it's not just long-term community identity belonging. It's actually behavior and how you can use youth culture to sell a product, or even the social sides, or the 2.0 has been very much dominated by advertising, showing that YouTube is a good signal to click, like you get all this advertising. So it's being in a way compromised. So the local community will have some of that, but the local community will engage in a very personal level. But yeah, you get to other stuff that you don't want to include in your ethnography. It would be interesting, and Tom suggested, like as an ethnographer, you look for everything. So, me say just ignoring the advertising which comes on YouTube, is it appropriate, or should ethnographers also refer to advertising, and to what extent? If you're going to refer directly, then are you kind of re-advertising what was advertised there? A number of ethical issues are still very much need to be addressed. So it's and yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I was just going to make a comment on your comment, is that I had a very interesting discussion with an online master's student, a very young online master's student, about what the difference was between the idea of brand and the idea of identity. And he, from the point of view of his marketing paradigm, was dominating it. It's very interesting to tease out what he meant by those ideas and what I meant by identity, and the way in which they matched and didn't.
It's pretty interesting, that whole question, really, because ethnography is so interested in butting in an identity. What I was going to make a comment really about the Michael Vetch video, because I found that really interesting from the point of view of it seems to be a big challenge of educational researchers is to communicate the value of what they're learning to a broad audience if you want to improve the quality of learning and teaching. And that looks to me like what I would maybe call performance ethnography, which in a digital form seems to include, it seems to display what it's, the content of what it's trying to analyse, and then displaying its form of analysis simultaneously, which does seem to me to be what Gibbs has always talked about. That's thick description. He was doing it in words. Seems to me Michael Vetch is trying to meld those things together in a thick digital kind of description. And I suppose I found that interesting as a kind of a challenge to how we could communicate research. That's all just a comment.
I think the ethnographer has this advantage in that conversation that, say, someone who does randomised controlled trials of various educational effects doesn't have this rich, thick description to convince. So the ethnographer can put up a YouTube video with all of the data and all the sexy stuff in it, even though the more positivist one would probably say the generalisability of your ethnography is nothing, we don't believe it. So I think there's power in the convincing explanation of it, rather than from sort of some data or some generalisable, provable thing. Sorry, I'm not sure.
No, I think I agree with you.
Yeah.
I suppose I think that there's space for both, like there's value in
There's
taking
value in both, but I think the more YouTube friendly one, and RCT is not very
Oh,
YouTube
absolutely.
friendly, ethnography, so YouTubeable.
Yes. Yes.
I was just going to, I guess, a little bit off topic from what the others talked about, just ask whether or not you had tried in vivo. It's really nice for, I think it would be really nice for a project like that where you were doing digital ethnography, because you can upload videos, you can upload audio, text, all sorts of things, and you can code and annotate on everything and produce reports from that. It just seems like a really nice vehicle to kind of pull everything in together and play with it.
I used NVivo in an earlier version which did not have all that for more data management, so it's really great tool to
It's
be
beautiful,
able
yeah.
to locate, to find your text. But I haven't used it the way you described it. Actually, at the time, which is a few years back, you did not have that option.
Yeah, it was just
All
only
those
built in,
options.
but yeah, now it's got a lot of, I think it's got a lot of things that when I was watching the presentation of your work there, I was thinking, gosh, imagine that in vivo with all of the artefacts that as an ethnographer that you would collect, they could all be combined in this kind of, I guess, file together and cross-matched in some ways and yeah.
That's really one of the biggest challenges of digital ethnography, how to use different data, how to mesh them together. It's still very much dominated on text, whatever you produce, but say, the video and audio, how to put it together. And then, the kind of multimedia format is almost, an answer.
There's a
But
great
how to
video on
connect
their
it.
website that just shows you, it will show you the capabilities of it. They show you like a little case study and show you the ways that all of the different types of digital data can be brought in and annotated and then seen together.
It would be interesting to see, when are we going to accept PhD thesis and research projects presented in something that maybe, I don't know how long, a presentation of multimedia with hyperlinks. And the hyperlinks is something that I have in my notes, which is really something that's going to change, and is already changing the way we reference our work, we engage, we kind of, the whole globe is hyperlinked in a way. And
Yeah, it's looking at things in a non-linear fashion, isn't it? Like a look around.
And then, it's going to take in any direction, so how to stay, to follow the social narrative you may have in your ethnography if you have too many hyperlinks. So it's, because people click and they go.
It's already happening. I've seen a PhD thesis that was a website.
So
This is a friend of mine at Open University in the UK was an examiner for it. Just the website was the thesis. And it was ethnographic in focus. I'm trying to find that link.
So is it still regarded as creative thesis or?
Not sure. There's a lot of research gone into the website. So it was from the States, from Canada. He was chief examiner. It's already happened.
It's to expect to be happening, just how far academia is going to move and kind of full bureaucracy, because how thesis is defined. While we always had that alternative for creative thesis, it's kind of something that's not really largely embraced or largely practiced. I think there are more risks to create than already defined.
Your research is really fascinating, and I'm looking forward to reading the book when it comes out. Look, this term digital ethnography, there seem to be elements of using digital technology for data gathering, data presentation, studying the